Key's Supreme Court just handed down 2 unanimous rulings that every gun owner in America needs to know about right now. And if you own firearms and keep them in your home, one of these decisions could put you in serious legal danger before you even touch your gun. Quick question before we go any further. Are you subscribed to this channel? Because I am about to walk you through 2 Supreme Court rulings that most gun owners have never even heard of. And if you miss this, you could end up behind bars without ever firing a single shot. Hit that subscribe button right now. I'm not kidding. Okay, let's get into it. Here's what just happened. On January 14th of 2026, all 9 Supreme Court justices, every single one of them, voted the same way, including the conservative ones you are counting on. They voted 9-0, unanimous. And the decision they made just changed the rules about when police can walk into your home without a warrant. This case is called Case versus Montana. And the story behind it? It is one you need to hear because it could happen to you tonight. Meet Trevor Case. He is a United States Army veteran living in Montana. One night in September of 2021, his ex-girlfriend called the police. She was worried. She thought he might hurt himself. She told officers she believed Trevor was suicidal. Now, here's the thing. Trevor was in his own home. He had not called anyone. He had not committed any crime. He was just a veteran, alone in his house with his legally owned firearms nearby. Police showed up. And here is the part that should stop you cold. They did not get a warrant. They did not call a judge. They walked straight up to that front door and entered his home. No warrant, no permission. Just a welfare check. Inside that home, they found Trevor. There was a confrontation. Police shot him. Then they charged him with assaulting a police officer. Trevor fought back. His lawyers went to court and argued that everything the police did after walking in without a warrant was illegal. They called it what it was, an unconstitutional search. No warrant means no entry, right? That is what the Fourth Amendment says. Your home is your castle. Police cannot just walk in. That is the whole point. But wait, here is where it gets interesting. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches. The key word there is unreasonable. For decades, courts have recognized something called the emergency aid exception. In plain English, that means if police believe someone inside a home is in danger, they can enter without a warrant. Like, if they think someone might be dying right now, they can enter to help. Trevor's legal team argued that the bar for using that exception should be high. Very high. They said police should need what is called probable cause before they can kick in a door with no paperwork. Probable cause means real, solid reasons to believe a true emergency exists. The Supreme Court disagreed, all 9 of them. Here is exactly what they decided. Police can enter your home without a warrant as long as they have a specific basis. They need, quote, an objectively reasonable basis for believing that someone inside needs emergency help, end quote. That phrase, objectively reasonable, is a lower bar. It does not require hard proof. It does not require a judge to sign off. It just means that a reasonable officer, looking at the situation, would think something bad might be happening. Now, quick legal note right here. This is educational information, not legal advice. Every situation is different. If you're dealing with a legal issue, please talk to a licensed attorney in your state. What I'm giving you today is knowledge, not a legal strategy. Now here is the part nobody is talking about, and this is the part that should matter most to you as a gun owner. Think about what this ruling actually means in practice. Your neighbor gets into a fight with her boyfriend. He storms off. She gets scared and calls police, saying she thinks he might hurt himself. Police roll up to his house. He has guns inside, all legally owned, by the way. Under the ruling in Case versus Montana, those officers can now walk through his front door without a warrant, simply because they have an objectively reasonable belief that an emergency exists. Once they are inside, what do they see? Your guns. And now, depending on your state, depending on your history, everything changes in an instant. Depending on whether you have any red flag laws on the books, your situation shifts immediately. This is the hidden connection between the Fourth Amendment and the Second Amendment. Most people are so focused on whether they can carry a gun that they forget the rules of entry. They forget about the rules around when police can enter the place where you store all of them. If you are finding this helpful, here's what you need to do. Subscribe to this channel right now. My next video is going to cover the 5 words that can protect you when a police officer asks about firearms. That is information that could keep you out of a felony charge. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Now let me explain why this matters, even more than you think. First thing you need to understand is the definition of a welfare check. A welfare check, also called a wellness check, is when police respond to a call from someone concerned. That concerned caller might be a neighbor, it might be an ex-partner. It might be a family member who disagrees with you politically and knows you own guns. All it takes is one phone call from one person claiming to be worried. Second, understand the new legal standard. Before this ruling, courts were split. Some required police to have probable cause. Now the Supreme Court has settled it for the whole country, objectively reasonable. That is the rule everywhere now. Third, understand what happens the second they step inside. Once police are lawfully inside your home under the emergency aid exception, everything in plain view is fair game. That means your firearms are visible. Your safe might be visible. Any accessories, any modifications, any items that could be questioned. All of it can be noted. All of it can be reported or used against you in a legal proceeding. But here's the crazy part. The Supreme Court did not stop there, because just 8 months earlier, in May of 2025, those same 9 justices handed down another ruling, another unanimous ruling that also affects you as a gun owner. This one is called Barnes versus Felix. Here's the background. A police officer in Texas pulled a man named Ashton Barnes over. It was a traffic stop. The officer suspected Barnes might be driving a car connected to toll violations. Barnes started to drive away. The officer jumped onto the running board of the moving car. The officer fired his weapon. Barnes died. The Barnes family sued, arguing the officer used excessive force. That is a Fourth Amendment claim. Excessive force by police violates your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable seizure of your person. Now, some courts, especially courts in the South, were using a specific rule. They were using a rule called the moment of threat rule. That rule said courts should only look at the exact split second when the officer decided to fire, just that instant. Nothing before it, nothing after it. The Supreme Court said no. All 9 of them, again, 9-0. They said courts must use what is called the totality of the circumstances. That means everything counts, not just the moment of the trigger pull. The whole sequence of events counts. What the officer did before, what decisions the officer made that led to the confrontation, whether the officer put himself or herself in a dangerous position unnecessarily. Here is what that means for you. Imagine you are a gun owner at home. Police come in under the new emergency aid exception we just talked about. This comes from the ruling in Case versus Montana. There is a confrontation. Things escalate. An officer uses force against you. Under Barnes versus Felix, any legal challenge to that force will now consider the full picture. Did the officers create the dangerous situation? Did they make poor decisions before things went wrong? That full context now legally matters. So these 2 rulings work together. One opens the door, literally. The other decides how accountable police are once they walk through it. Hey, real quick, 73% of people watching this video right now are not subscribed. That means almost 3 out of 4 of you are missing these critical updates. Do not be in that group. Join the tens of thousands of gun owners who get this information first. Click subscribe right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it could keep you out of a cage. Now, here is what most people get wrong after hearing about these rulings. They think, well, I have nothing to hide, so I have nothing to worry about. That is the most dangerous thing you can believe as a legal gun owner. Here is a hypothetical example to explain this. You are a responsible gun owner. You store your firearms legally. You keep them locked. You follow every rule in your state. One night, your adult son gets into an argument with his girlfriend across town. She calls police and mentions your son seemed upset and might have access to guns at his dad's house. Officers drive to your address. They have an objectively reasonable belief there may be a danger. Under Case versus Montana, they can come in. You did everything right. You never broke a law, but now police are in your home without a warrant. And whether the visit goes smoothly or sideways has nothing to do with your Second Amendment rights. It has everything to do with how cool-headed everyone stays in that moment. Don't make this mistake. Do not assume the law protects you if you just act innocent. The law does not care about innocent. The law cares about standards. And now you know the standard. Here's the part that shocked me when I dug into this. These rulings are both 9-0. That means this is not a partisan battle. This is not conservative judges versus liberal judges. Every single justice agreed. From Clarence Thomas to Sonia Sotomayor, they all agreed. When that happens, it almost never gets reversed. This is settled law. This is the new reality for every gun owner in America. Here's the second thing that shocked me. Case versus Montana was decided in January of 2026. That is brand new. The ink is barely dry. Most news outlets did not give this attention. A lot of gun owners have no idea this happened. Knowing this puts you at less risk. Every day that goes by without knowing puts them at greater risk. Here's the third thing. These 2 rulings combined create a very specific scenario. Under Case versus Montana, police have expanded authority to enter your home. Under Barnes versus Felix, their use of force will be judged more strictly if something goes wrong. That means the stakes of any confrontation at your front door just got much higher on both sides. So what can you actually do with this information? Here are 3 practical takeaways. 1. Know what a welfare check is and understand that almost anyone can call one. A concerned neighbor, a bitter ex, a family member, anyone. You cannot stop the call. What you can do is be mentally prepared for how to respond if officers show up. 2. Secure your firearms. If police lawfully enter your home, anything in plain view is fair game. Keep your guns in a proper safe. Do not leave them out on counters, tables, or in cases. Out of sight matters legally. 3. Stay calm and do not escalate. Under Barnes versus Felix, the full sequence of events matters now. That means your behavior from the first knock on the door is part of the legal record. Stay calm. Speak calmly. Ask questions calmly. Do not give anyone a reason to escalate. This information has a shelf life. Laws and rulings like these create downstream effects. New state laws, new police policies, and new legal challenges could come fast. The legal landscape will look different by the end of 2026. Subscribe to this channel right now. My next video covers exactly what gun owners need to do before those changes lock in. This is the information you need before the window closes. Subscribe now so you're ready. Here's your bottom line. The Supreme Court just handed down 2 unanimous rulings. Case versus Montana in January 2026 and Barnes versus Felix in May 2025. Together, they expand police authority to enter your home without a warrant in emergency situations. And they change how courts judge what happens after they get inside. If you own firearms and keep them at home, both of these decisions affect you directly. You do not need to be scared, but you do need to be informed. And now you are. One last thing before you go. If this video gave you information, share it with a gun owner. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it right now. Do it for yourself. Gun laws change fast, and the ones caught off guard were not paying attention. I'm here to make sure you're always paying attention. This video is for education only. It is not legal advice, and it does not create any kind of attorney-client relationship. Gun laws vary by state, and your specific situation may be different from the examples here. Always consult a licensed attorney in your state before making legal decisions about your firearms. Stay legal, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.